Hello everyone. In a previous session, we have talked about a non-verbal or that words that how we have to prepare in a unit 2 in the first question. In the second question, we will see multimedia visual. So let's begin. The question or that intro is a picture is worth 1,000 words. Discuss and explain. In 21st century, we have multimedia visuals to make a presentation even more interesting at the same time attracting. Therefore, if a presenter use multimedia visual, then he surely give an effective presentation. With the use of PowerPoint presentation slide, a presenter can show video or sound clip to explain his point of view clearly. That is the biggest difference between a traditional method of teaching and using a modern equipment. Like when you are using a presentation or the PPTs, there you will find a hyperlink video and pictures also, so that gives a beneficial or given a effective impact on student. Like when you are in a traditional method, there is a, if a teacher want to say that do you see lion, means teacher has to draw a lion. But here what you do, you will just bring the image on a slide, so everyone come to know that okay, it's a look like lion. So that is the difference between a modern technology and the traditional one. That's why in an education level we are debating that can machine replace teacher, just because when you are preferring this kind of activity means there is a you have no need, just make share the presentation, your student will get an idea. But still we think that we need a human for that to explain this. So these are the backdrop or the benefit, or it is an argumentative. Still people are not 100% sure that which way or which is the proper way to make a correction. Let's see slide basics. So is it a practical one, but still I am explaining the theory part, that how it will be work. So the first one is a purpose. Visual are not for the entertainment value. Visual are often used to make a content more clear, and with the use of visual, a presenter can give explanations regarding any point in much better way before using PowerPoint presentation. A presenter need to understanding how to use it and how it can be eye-catching. I know maybe that my presentation are a little bit boring. Why? Just because it purely relate with an education stream. Still I can make interesting also, but for a better understanding. But I am preferring an additional way, so that's why you will find my slides are simple. But sometimes simpleness is also a quite good example for teaching. That's why I am preferring. Otherwise, I can make more effective and eye-catching slide. But then the presentation become more lengthier. That's why I am preferring simple slides. Some of the styles. First, size. The main text should be 24 point, but it is not necessary that you keep 24 point only for every slide. Means that they are talking about the titles or the text. Maximum it should be in a 24. Then and then it's a quite acceptable, but it is an additional. But you can change it. Like here you will find not that perfectness, just because these words are in a format of 26 and the title is it in a 28 format, so that is the different. But why? Just because it's my choice that I would like to go with a different size, so no one can tell me that. But it's a depend as a presenter that which size you want to carry. Words per line. Each line should contain 6 words, and each slide should creating a fixed line. But as I told you that is it in educational PPTs, so that's why you will find bulky PPTs. If it is in business oriented, then there is a huge amount of charts, but you will find a less number of words. But as in a part of education, so there is a number of PPT slides and number of the words, but we have to follow this one also. Font. When a presenter is preparing his side, there are two ideal fonts in which he should write text in a style Arial, and these two fonts make reading easier on the part of audience. Presenter should use bold while he want emphasize the important point. Like this one, my title is bold, and the sub points are in a normal way, but I have put it the numbers, so you get that is it the style in the sub points. I am explaining like that. See the first one, size, words per line, so it's a little bit different. I make it so it will look like that. Okay, is it the sub point for highlighting that. Fourth one, color combination. High contrast color make a text easier to read. The dark text on the light background usually work best. Don't combine color which clash. Like my background is a little bit blue shade and the font is black. If I will prefer a white font, then it's going to be a little bit not so good, just because the reader will feel a little bit difficult to read. That's why there is a color combination they are explaining that make for a reader. We have to choose the color combination. The graphics. Use the graphics make a point easy to explain, but before adding any graphics in the slide, a presenter should be aware that a graphic represents the topic and that gives a further explanation regarding the point, because a picture is worth 1,000 words. I hope so you guys have remembered my first presentation in unit 1. The first slide has some corporate world's image, so that was the graphical. I have tried to put that, so it gives a good impact on audience. That why? Just because it's given relevant to their topic, so that is the way that audience come to know that this is the topic. If the word is not clear, but they will see the visuals and they get an idea that okay, it's maybe about communication. So that's why we prefer that way. The sixth one is an effect. Before adding effect to the slide, a presenter should know that he is not overusing the effect, because too much effect irritate audience. Yeah, still my presentation is simple. I can make a very different way to slides, given a different effect also. But then sometimes it's happen that audience little bit become irritating or they feel boring. You will try to make some interesting, but it become a bore. Sometimes audience like a simpleness, and we think that make some effective. So that is the problem. So that's why people follow some additional rules. A 7 1, a bullet point. To use of a bullet point, a presenter, the audience reading, and while the presenter is explaining particular points. Here you can see that every number there is a dot, that known as bullet point. So it defined that there is a new point is coming, sub point is there. So that's why we use. You can use a star also. You can give number also. Alphabet you can put as a bullet point. But I am using a traditional one. So that's why you will find in my every slide there is a dots. Whenever the sentence will begin, you will find the dots. Dot is a representation of bullet. Fun. Use a fun animation to give a quick warm up to the presentation. Yes, you can do it. Make some of the GIF emojis on your presentation, so which gives a little bit attractiveness. But I cannot use here, just because right now I am explaining. So I need it quite simple. That's why. Emphasize. Just to use a capital letter to emphasize important phrase or range, highlight it with the use of color or by underline the sentence or a phrase. Yes, it will helpful when you are writing your assignment. Then you have to emphasize. Suppose you want to make your assignment in a form of a PPT, then you will use this thing that you will highlight with the different color, make an underline. That is the way to make an uniqueness. The links, when a presenter add a link into the slide, enhance the overall impact. Before using such a link, a presenter should be aware of two following difficulties. Like in my master's time, I have used so many links on my presentation. Means that if you click any of the word, then you will jump down on YouTube. So you will find one of the video was hidden there. So sometime you cannot explain properly. Then what you do, you will make to correct what you want to actually what you want to say, then you will prepare a video. So you will add a video on your presentation by linking, and there is a particular word is hyperlink. So whenever you want to make that kind of connection, then you will prefer hyperlink. This will happen in a laptop. For if you want to put a links, then you need a laptop. I am using a phone to make an PPT, so there is a limitation of phone, so I cannot. Otherwise, I will put here also one of the example, but I am just explaining. Text file, don't display documents which are impossible to read when project. Yes, or you cannot come with a bulky files or the PDF. It's a limitation of a slide, so you have to bring only words, make a small sentences. You cannot come with a bulky text and a format of presentation. 12th, sound files. Playing a sound file requires a sound system in a room which works and provide the right quality for everyone present. Check the logistic in advance. Those who have visited department, they know that there is a projector and there is a screen also, and there is a podium which is wireless and connected with a projector, so it gives a sound effect quite good. So before you start your presentation, you have to check it, is it working condition or not, otherwise your plan will be fail. Video files, quality issue also affect any discussion to use a video. Remember, projected video can appear fuzzy and unprofessional if the recording quality is low. Test before integrating into your presentation. Yes, before you link your videos with your presentation, make sure that the video quality is quite good, that if you showing in a big screen, that will be not going to blur. That is a quite important point that we have to recognize. And the fourth one, the next one, a web page. Web page are like in a text file, quite difficult to read. Accessing the interest also depend on a reliable connection. It is dangerous to put your faith in a technology for critical input. Yes, some of the risks are also there, that if you cannot connect with a web page. Sometimes web page is a little bit difficult to make a correction. So video is still quite okay, but if you preferring a web page, then it's going to be a little bit difficult. Now let's see some other part, better PowerPoint. First we have see some basic. These all things are basic and traditional that which we have to do. We have studied in 8 to 10 standard. These are some basic norms that how you create PPT. But here what we can do, so if we want to enhance our presentation, then we need some other things. So here some of the tips are given. There are some rules that can make a better PowerPoint presentation. Designing value. Before adding visual, presentation should think from the audience point of view. Within some second, visual should be able to communicate core message. Means that when the presentation will open, it should be connect with the audience, and audience come to know that okay, this is the subject and this presentation is relating to that. keep things lively. The presenter should use a sentence or a phrase that can quickly catch the eye of reader. In short, it should be eye-catching for a presenter can use play foreign words. Uh, if you see my first video on a unit uh, 2's first question, there I have prepared the example of PK. That there is they are talking about the stress on the sentence and pushing and pausing. For that I have referred the example of PK. So that is the way you can make that they want to make. Keep things lively. Keep it simple. That what I am doing, that my presentation is quite simple. There is not any kind of effects, visualization, emojis are not there, but still it is quite okay. Why? Just because it is in a additional way which I am making. Less is always more. The presenter should keep few number of slide only. In each slide should contain minimum words so that make reading is easy for the readers. Yeah, but see, in my every slide you will find a small contents, not that the bulky content that the whole slide is full of the word. I am making a little bit space also, cutting the some of the ideas also, so it become a little bit smaller one. That always keep in mind that whenever you making a presentation, you should think on that side also. Highlight the keywords. In the presentation, when a presenter file important words, he can use a different color bullet points. He can underline important word so that important words stay different from the rest of the sentence. Yeah, that should be done by or when we are taking vivas of student and then they are making a presentation, then they can do. But as a teacher, when I am teaching, so everything is important, so I have to go with this way. So that's why I am not highlighting, but I can highlight some of the definition also. I can make it bold one and make an underline also, so make it different. So as an audience come to know that okay, these are the points are important, but right now all points are important. Why? Just because we are learning. Start well. First impression matter a lot. When the presentation gives a presenter give a real good start, he can impress the audience in the starting phrase. Only to start effectively, he can use a humor, funny or interesting graphics. As we have discussed in a unit 1 that funny thing humor is always helpful, and in here what they say is they are now including something, that is the graphics. Traditional way you will start with the jokes, but here what you do, you put funny emojis, then it gives some quite interesting start. Finish well. The final slide should be the most memorable, as this slide should summarize key point, and it should give a long lasting impact so that audience leave the rule with the something there in the mind. Yeah, it is possible in the corporate world. Here I cannot summarize all the thing in a last slide, but what I will do, I will prepare with a thank you greeting slide, that thanks for listening. So that is the way. So it's depend on the presenter that which way he want to conclude. Creating an interest in a variety. Audience love variety. Presenter, each slide become composed of a variety of things, and each slide according to the content, graphics, video, clipping, sound files. Yeah, when you want to make a more attractive effectively, then you will prefer this way. You can put videos, images and effects and graphics, then your presentation will be enhanced. Handouts. The plan B. If possible, presenter should give handout because audience will spend their time reading handout when the slide be listening. The second important thing is that when you are running your presentation, they will feel boring, just because we have a habit to traditional way that the teacher has to speak and the student has to write. But when you are preparing in a modern way, then it is not possible. The only it is become a one-way communication. So if you want to make two-way communication, then you will come with a handout. So you can give it to your students or audience, so they can carry, they can read it what is going on in your slide also. So that is the way. No, now what is coming? Once once you have prepared your presentation and about to give presentation, but the printout on the desk in front of you, so you can see which slide is coming. So you have to remember the sequence order of your slide. So that's why you have to make a printout also. So you can remember that which slide will come next. Working with a slide, it is quite different for others if they have no idea about technology. So that's why people is always feel little bit difficult, or they feel more uncomfortable with technology. Why? Just because they don't want to be techno friendly, they always prefer a way with traditional. So that is the difficult with the traditional peoples, just because they will not accepting technology as a tool. Technology make a work easier, but they think that it is losing jobs if technology will cover securing these things. So that's why there is a number of argument is that the people are not using technology. Effectiveness of a slide depend on how it is used by a presenter. When the presenter is giving presentation, he should introduce the objective of the slide at the beginning so that the audience can be clear in their mind that what is here in the presentation for them. Like in this chapter we are talking about the how to create a good slides. First we have seen non verbals, some of the verbal parts we have seen. First in a unit we are discussing about presentation and that the roles as a presenter and an audience. In unit 2 we are discussing some of the practical part of presentation. So in the second one, once the presenter had explained key points on the slide, he then should summarize briefly. As I am doing that, first I am reading also, then I try to put some of the outside example also and make a correction also. The presenter should give personal comment on the particular topic or a content so that audience feel that the presenter is also involving himself in the presentation. As I told that I cannot link videos or that other things just because I am preferring a phone. So that is the my backdrop or the little bit I am failing lacking a loose point from my side that I am not using a laptop. If I am bringing the laptop, then my slide or the presentation become more effective, but unfortunately I am not using that one. Before moving on the need slide, a presenter should repeat main earlier. So when you before you concluding or move to the next slide, you have to explain one more time. Before moving on to the next slide, the presenter should reach the next slide or it gives the hint to the audience that presenter knows very well how to give effective presentation. Means that before ending in one topic, you should know the upcoming topic. So in between, you can tell to your audience that now upcoming topic will talk about this. So keep with the ready with the mindset. Presenter should move his audience through this slide clearly. If the presenter be aware of all these points while giving presentation, then his audience will understand every word of the presentation. As I says about some of the practical part, I have shared some of the loophole from my side that I am using on a I'm not using laptop, I am using a phone to make an PPTs. So quite easy for an audience to accept some of the point, and they also try to understand something that okay, these are the things are behind the scene are working. So these are the things which we have to know, or this kind it's look like our norms that we have to follow when we are making slides. In unit 1 is talks about a presentation, And now we are defining slide in a unit 2. So that is the way that they are saying. Now describing a result and a trend. Many presenters will have to spend a lot of time describe financial result, analyzing business trend. As I told you that presentation is always relate with a commercial trade. It is not for an education purpose, but we make it for an education purpose. But truly, is it work for an commercial trade? So that's why they are preferring an example of business, that the financial result and analysis. Before announcing the result or analysis, friends presenter should be very well aware of a language and the grammar that he is using to describe. Here are 5 elements to master. So for a grammatical section, or that as we know that when you use preferring a presentation, it must be in a language of English. So some of the basic rule, but personally I feel that first you have to speak the language, then focus the rule and regulation. If you don't speak the properly, then how you know the language? If you that is the problem with an other student also, that they know English very well. Why? Just because they know the grammar, they know active, passive, direct, indirect form and all things. But when someone says that, can you make another one sentence or can you speak that, then they are stopped. Why? Just because they have no habit to speak in that form. So that is the problem. So first what we need to do is start speaking. After that, later on, see the grammatical part. The most important thing is that you have to learn to speak, then you can realize the grammatical part. So for me, according to my point of view, grammar is in the second part. First you need to start speaking the language. The presenter should know which tense he is using to describe the result, because it makes a poor impact on the mind of the audience. So the traditional one, they maintain your tense. We find when students are writing their question answer in examination, that they are preferring different tenses in the same paragraph or the same line. So these are the loophole or backdrop of students, that they are failing to make sentences in a proper way. So but we can improve by learning. If the presenter has failed in the using correct tense according to situation. And the second one, according to the situation, presenter should use correct verb and noun. If the result or rather turn over has declared, then he should choose verb or noun according to the sentence. That here he talks about tense, then we have to follow nouns and verb also. Now in the third one, what he says, when the presenter is talking about the change in the market position, then he should define the degrees of change accurately. If there is a suddenly rise in the sales, then he should say the sales are increasing rapidly. So first here is the example. They are saying that if sales are rising, so how he says sales are increasing rapidly. So the second one, the last line is properly says the sales are increasing rapidly. First one is also not correct. Suddenly that the rising in the sales, but it's not the proper way. But both are right in a different way. But the second one is properly saying. So that is the way. Means like sales are increasing rapidly. The presenter should use a right presentation according to the sentence. The sentence structure must be in a correct way. Example, increase from 5 to 6 million in 2005. If there is a change in the turn over, when the presenter should give disgrace or increase. A checklist of visuals. Once the presenter done with the preparing slide, he should check the quality of each slide. When you are viewing the slide, you should check which content for much fit. Means that you have to find out appropriate graphics. When your presentation is complete, means not your duty is over, but your duty is now started. So you have to see one more time and re-edit that. Okay. And second one, object of the slide clear or off or not, whether the slide is interesting or not. While checking the slide, presenter should also check the design of slides, such as use of bullet, font, optical letter, choice of a color accuracy regarding spelling. After checking all the aspects, presenter can be see that these slides are fluent. So that second part is talks about the basic thing, spell check and colors, background, how you preferring that. These are the important things as an additional way. While preparing the slide, the presenter focus on a color. Like here I have preferring a blue shade, little bit dim blue shade, or the sky type of color I have chosen, and the font color is a black. Similar slide, talking without looking at the audience, much of the text. If the presenter consider all the aspects, then he surely can successfully present presentation. So these are the norms of a presentation, that when you are making a presentation or concluding presentation, at that time you have to prefer these are the things to make a crystal clear or attractive or effective presentation. I hope so you guys get an idea, and at the end you guys also try to make this way your presentation, and in our WhatsApp group you guys will share also. So I hope so, finger crossed, that we will see some of the good presentation by use of this, use as an activity part of this. Hope so. Thank you for listening. I hope so. I know today's session was a little bit boring, just because there is a part of practical and which I am explaining theoretically. So it is a little bit difficult for a student also. But hope so. Now you guys have an idea. There is a clear concept that how to use a presentation, that how to make a good slide. So let's see how many of you are making a good slide. Thank you.